Do you ever feel like you ever need or want a friend to cheer you up on your worst days? Someone who's got your back? That's a question I've asked myself countless times by now, and the answer is an absolute yes. I've recently taken the liberty to watch the sequel to one of the most popular Pixar movies of all time, Monsters, Inc., or should I say, At Work. This show is basically akin to watching The Office, but with monsters instead of humans. And with this monstrous sequel came a plethora of new characters to watch and enjoy. One-eyed cretins, furry mammals, horny tusks, you name it. Any viewer of what I call the Monsters saga can find any type of monster they like. But out of all the characters this show had to offer the audience, the one I personally enjoyed seeing the most was none other than the huggable, lovable Val Little.
Tylor! Val Little, Monsters University, freshman year. We had that Origins of Fear class together. Yawn.
In Monsters at Work, Val is initially introduced as being an incredibly talkative and energetic monster. Her voice is pretty high-pitched, akin to that of a bubbly teenage girl, and she even sounds like Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. She constantly goes off on rants that seemingly make no sense to both the audience and Tylor himself. Clearly, she must mean nothing more than an awkward classmate of Tylor's in college, right? Well, even though she came off as being annoying and socially awkward for Tylor to be around, her talkative nature always enables her to bring out the best in people who lack self-esteem and confidence, with Tylor being one of those people. For instance, Tylor initially felt super uncomfortable to be with his fellow MIFTers, but Val constantly tried her best to help him fit in with the group, and was even able to cheer him up on Mini Monsters Day right after he failed his laugh audition. It's even implied that her befriending Tylor is what eventually prompts him to come around and regard MIFT as his family all along, rather than the ragtag group of misfits he initially thought they were. Besides Tylor, there are two notable examples where Val exhibits this characteristic of hers. She pitied Duncan and let him take over as a temporary supervisor after he felt upset over not getting the role. Despite Duncan typically coming off as an annoying jerk that others can barely tolerate, she still wanted him to achieve his biggest desire, aka taking Fritz's job. Later on, we can even see her attempting to cheer up a jaded Talia, aka Miss Flint's daughter. Talia may not have wanted to be with MIFT, at one point describing such an experience as
the worst possible thing ever.
But Val still wanted her to enjoy Mini Monsters Day and not let it go to waste. All of these aforementioned examples show Val as someone who is there to cast a rainbow of friendship or a heartfelt hug whenever life gets hard. On top of that, another noteworthy thing about Val is her arch-shaped stature and cute appearance, which further add on to her energetic and lively behavior. Any fan of the show, myself included, can take a brief gaze at her and find her to be more cute and hilarious rather than villainous and scary. Heck, her appearance and friendly demeanor basically foreshadow what she will eventually become to Tylor later on in the series. Work buds. However, there's still more to Val than just the happy, supporting monster she's made out to be on screen. Any monster, whether scary or funny, will have their lows at some point in life. And with that in mind, Val didn't exactly have the best academic career. She was only enrolled in college for 1 year before dropping out, and when she and Tylor were repairing a damaged room, Tylor became annoyed and asked Val why he's so important to her as a person. A tear-stricken Val then reveals that she felt incredibly lonely throughout her brief stint at MU. All she wanted was a friend, someone to talk to and socialize with. Yet she ultimately couldn't find any. Up to this point, we're used to seeing Val as a happy, joyful monster bursting with energy, and to see her upset like that hit me in the feels. Sometimes the happiest of people in life are the ones who have been broken the most, and Val is no exception to this. Her excessive talking may have aggravated Tylor, which, don't get me wrong, is definitely understandable coming from someone who is visibly uncomfortable with his work colleagues. However, Val didn't intend to annoy Tylor per se with her excessive talk, but rather, she wanted to please and befriend the one person who made a difference to her back in college when no one else would. And that moment would arguably change both Val and Tylor for the better. Tylor would achieve a friend who constantly looks out for him and encourages him to be the very best, and would gradually learn to understand and love his coworkers as the series progresses. But conversely, what's equally heartwarming is that it was a critical step towards Val achieving what she heavily desired: a best friend. A friend that she could talk to, keep her company, and go on the most bizarre and chaotic of adventures with. And what's more is that she would not only come to befriend Tylor, she would also become more sympathetic and better understood as a monster by both the latter and the audience, rather than solely being judged by her fun-loving exterior. She's like the kind of lawyer who would go to such great lengths to defend you in court, or perhaps even the most loyal friend you could ask for in a Hermione-esque way to Tylor's Harry. But by far the most important thing that signals Val's importance as both a character and a friend is the meaningful context behind her name. Val is clearly short for valuable, indicating that she is a valuable friend for anyone to have due to her nice and encouraging behavior that we talked about earlier. Meanwhile, Little is indicative of just how much one person can make a heck of a difference in someone else's life. Just as how Tylor made the difference to her back in college, Val had a huge impact in Tylor's life too. She was the very friend who helped him grow softer towards the other members of MIFT, convinced him to accept his dream job even though he didn't want to leave his friends, and would ultimately achieve her own dreams by becoming his assistant on the lab floor. She may have played the sidekick towards Tylor himself, yet still accomplished a hell of a lot from the likes of one friend. She can even be seen or viewed as an inspirational character to plenty of fans in the audience that their actions matter, and that everyone, regardless of how big or small they are on the world stage, can still accomplish anything they heavily desire. Whenever we have any kind of friend to cheer us up, we are typically at our strongest. The strength that our friends inspire within us make all of us calm, collected, confident, and ready to achieve anything out there. And Val, with her cheerful and energetic outbursts, coupled with being able to help others and make a difference in their lives, is certainly the type of friend that I myself would want to have. Her cute appearance, friendly demeanor, and tragic backstory behind her own behavior presents her as being sympathetic, interesting, and enjoyable to watch every single moment she's on screen. And most importantly, her ability to grow out of the nobody she was in college to the care-loving MIFTer who brings about the best in her friends truly shows that anyone out there can make a difference as long as they try. Val truly is, and always will be, a valuable character for anyone to like. Thanks for watching, everyone.